In this project, I will be an insulator, then a stonemason, painter, a farmer, and finally a gardener. So please sit tight and enjoy. Let's get started. Hello my YouTube friends, welcome back to the second part of the Star Wars AT-ST build. The model is quite beaten up, so this time I will try to build a diorama of a tropical rainforest landscape. For this build, I will use a base from FDF board. Before the actual build, I drew a picture. I had some ideas from the movies, but my model has battle damage and I want to create a scene where it's abandoned for many years. I'll prepare the terrain first. I will use classic PVA glue. This time, I won't use modeling clay, but polystyrene. To reach a certain terrain height, I need lots of layers. 5 actually. Of course, you can also use styrofoam to create the terrain, but this polystyrene has been in my storage for a longer time, so why not use it? 5 layers are more than enough. Next, I cut the polystyrene to a needed shape. This procedure is very messy. I had to use a vacuum cleaner like 100 times. And cuttings were charged with static electricity. Everything stuck to my fingers. But it was fun to play with. After I finished sculpting the terrain, I let the glue to dry and went for a walk in the woods. The best choice to imitate rocks are actual rocks, or stones in my case. Walk in the woods was also a treasure hunt for these babies. Now I will cover the whole base with balsa wood. Balsa wood is excellent. It's reliable and easy to work with. This procedure was a little bit tricky. I had to use pins and masking tape to put it together. To strong up the bond, I also glued the inner side of the base with PVA glue. After the glue dried out, I cut and sanded the unnecessary balsa wood with a sharp hobby knife and a P220 sandpaper. The entire terrain must be sealed off with a solid construction plaster. The plaster quickly dries out. First, I fill all gaps over the balsa frame, and then I use an old paintbrush to reach and apply the plaster into all gaps between the rocks. I have to work fast, the plaster is drying. I also added more small stones and much more tiny stones. To glue the small stones properly into place, I added a mix of water and PVA glue. Let's see how the model fits into the base. Fits fine. Let's make some marks of the feet. The marks will be important in the next steps. To unify the whole terrain before the paint job, I added a layer of Titan Surface Primer from Nick Jimenez. My wife begs me to find an alternative for my smelly Mr. Color paints. So this project will be also a testbed for the water-based acrylic colors. I sprayed the rocks with Nick Jimenez water-based acrylics. I used a mix of gunship gray and light ghost gray colors. The paints must be applied in fine layers, too many layers for my taste. Their consistency is a solid thick liquid, and with thinner it's quite good. But I'm not sure if it's the right way. But I will continue testing them. I will test them on armored vehicles or aircraft, but only with one camo paint. Let's test the Revels aqua colors. I have some in my stash for my German World War II tanks, so let's work with them. Their consistency is thicker, but with thinner they are much better to apply. And they cover more surface in one step. I think I have a solid candidate, but I will also test them on some old models. Now I highlight the rocks and small stones with a dry brush technique. I chose a lighter color than the rocks itself. In this case, a mix of light gray and white. The next step is to apply a layer of PVA glue. I want to cover the ground with soil. And again, the best imitation for soil is actual soil. I try to use as much nature products as possible. For an easier application, I made a sieve from a stocking and rubber band. Next, I add a dark gray wash. It's a mix of black and white oil paint and enamel thinner. The oil wash creates a more interesting look. The rock starts to look much more stony at this point. For more details, I added a dead rotten tree. The tree stump is a resin accessory, but the trunk is actual dead wood. To hold the wood properly in place, I had to use a gel superglue. Before gluing, I paint the tree stump with surface primer and a Revel Aqua brown color, and after gluing, I gave him a dark brown oil paint coat. I also gave the tree a proper dark brown wash. Now for the messy part, grass apply. The soil surface must be again covered in a mix of water and PVA glue. I have lots of wild grass in my stash. This time I will use the longer 12 mm static grass from Noh. The application is quite simple. All I have to watch out for is to spread the grass in all places with the glue. If you are wondering what kind of thing is that in my hand, it's my homemade static grass applicator. Yeah, I know, it don't win any beauty contest, but it's simple, easy to build and very effective. And now for the most fun part, plants. Oh nature, what a great place. I was outside again and collecting miniature plants and especially moss. This plant mimics piglets in an excellent way. My stash also contains few paper plants. These are water plants. I want to create weird looking exotic plants with a red fruit from them. So I adjust them, bend them into a desired shape, and add a miniature colored ball. Let's add more little trees, shrubs and twigs. A landscape should play with all shades of green as much as possible. Therefore, I added more laser-cut paper plants. I also have some metal photo etch plants, but I will not use them. The paper plants look a little bit dull, so I paint them with a dark green color. I managed to create this nice looking plant for the first time. The stem is made out of a toothpick and painted green. I started to glue the leaves from the top to the bottom with liquid superglue, and then I bend them and form it into a needed shape. 4 more plants like this and I'm good. Now I place the ATST to the base and glue it with superglue. I will adjust the grass around the legs to make it look like the model has been standing there for a long time. And I'll apply a matte black coating to the sides of the base to highlight the details of the diorama. At the end of the build, I spread all big plants with a layer of Rebel Aqua varnish coat. Alright, the destroyed and abandoned Star Wars AT-ST diorama is finished. With some breaks, this project took me a month to build. I finally managed to build something different. Now I can focus on aircraft again. Please subscribe to my channel, like or leave a comment down below. But if you are interested to see more of my work, join me on Facebook or Instagram. There is a link in the description. Thank you for watching guys, see you next time, and here is the final reveal.